Attention gamers, I recently started using TikTok and all the incredibly deserving of attention talent on that app has me wondering about things my body is doing, so I figured it was time to go to mommy and ask about sex, to which she started by telling me about all the people who will never have it, namely those who boost others or pay for boosting in League of Legends while contributing to the dying integrity of rank in this piss pit of a game that Riot doesn't care about because they'd rather you just bust a wallet nut on the Star Guardian Super Sale page than fix the f***ing game. So recently, if you've been around on this channel, I covered a game that I got matched up with this sped Jedi who was clearly playing the game in a different dimension far beyond what organic gameplay at my rank looks like. Then thanks to you, my community, and your detective hats, we found that he was a filthy booster, so I covered a game in the process of him carrying this pathetic plant of a person all the way to diamond. And now I am back today with more Eternal Virgins. Shout out to Lotad on Discord for the discovery work, to cover another example of a piece of piss paying for rank, where we will see a game where he gets boosted by this dumb death fetish shepherd who takes smurfing to an entirely new level. And then, because I'm petty, I found a game that he queued up alone after all this boosting to observe how a super low inflated twat waffle performs in a rank that he doesn't deserve to be in the first place. So if you are excited to watch me do my job as volunteer firefighter at Riot Games, doing their job by trying to draw attention to these scumbags ruining their game, then sit back, subscribe, and enjoy a fresh meal courtesy of Factor. Now any low high ego backseater can tell you that the secret to climbing is carrying and the way to carry is to get fed, but most guides don't cover how you can guarantee that you are always fed, and that's where Factor comes in, a cheap reliant meal delivery service that I've been using to get and stay fed without spending time trying to cook healthy or shoving shit like McDonald's down my pie hole, which indirectly wastes time because I'm stuck on
Rav, stay on topic.
when I could be fed while getting fed on the Rift. The way it works is you just select which kind of diet you want. For example, I hit the protein plus because I'm trying to look like this one day, then you pick how many meals you want to show up each week, and voila, you basically have a personal chef rapid firing delicious healthy meals and drinks to you without any cooking or dishes ever required. Using my link below takes you here where my code is applied, which knocks the prices practically in half because I threaten their entire company with pictures of my toes in perpetuity if they didn't hook you up with the best price, and thus I highly recommend you give it a short trial while it's cheap. And if you are a human that doesn't need to eat to sustain life, they are offering me a bag per purchase as the salesman, meaning it's a yummy way to support this channel, so give it a try and let's get back into the games. Okay, now back to the people who couldn't get laid if they crawled up a chicken's ass and waited. As we can see, the booster ruins his cover when he drops a ward in this elo, which later reveals some sus security cam footage. And while I think the plan is just to say nah boo boo, we saw you, Kangaroo Jack is like, no guys, they traveled all this way, we can't let them leave with nothing, so he gets his steed slaughtered before burning to death. But luckily assassin players get one kill and they start acting like they are untouchable, so Professor Akali gets taught a lesson, and then over caffeinated Billie Eilish finds herself just another dead ADC casualty for trying to hang with the big boys. Smurf Dick on the other hand does a weird clear where he skips his blue buff because he apparently likes the red flavor better, and the only way to get another one of those at this hour is to steal it. Then the scuttle goes to the Smurf before a level 3 tower dive that I'm not saying the junglers in my hometown rank wouldn't attempt, but they sure as shit wouldn't pull it off that easily. And I guess you farm honor level when you are hard carrying naive kids 6 ranks below you every game, but then he opts into staying to educate us hard stucks on the foreign concept known as a counter gank, which catches Dirty D with her not quite diamond dick in her hand, leaving just Spear Boy, who thinks taking a turret shot is what he's missing in this situation. Then straight south to say hey to biker gang Blitzcrank, as you literally see the boy who bought the boosting back here rotating slower than a poorly greased cog just to contribute to the fight about as much as he is contributing to his own climb, and bottom line 2 more kills go to the death fetish goat. At this point, smurfing Saul Goodman over here doesn't even need his buyer for the gank, as he skips his way right past that V8 engined idiot and straight to the booger blonde taking too many stimulants, as Blitz appropriately is trying to remember which button gives people handshakes, which is on par with people in this elo as opposed to this jungler with close to 1 kill per minute. We see the archer and her burnt jellyfish secure the team some red meat before immediately setting up an invasion as if the sun's going down and she just knows the moon will be coming right there, which ends up getting a handful of kids stuck with their titties tangled. But Kindred's definitely been using Factor to deliver meals with how fed she is, as Pike says I will draw a few X's that will mark the spots of their failures, as Smurf Dick probably feels nothing because killing silvers is just a job she's been doing under Riot's table for years. Then a quick visit to the Rift Equator, as I'm thinking with every new bullshit skin line it becomes harder and harder for me to tell the difference between who is Cat and who is Akali, as they both have 2 knives and run the same way, so I guess the only difference is Akali is dead as shit. And makes more clickbaity thumb. Add an uncontested Rift Herald to the list because Lunar Lisa is up top thinking that killing the rooster is the same as killing little Ronnie that rides it, which opens up all kinds of doors for this powder sugar covered murder machine and his corrupted fart cloud to come in and watch this spear fisherman get omega lol cucked by Cled's passive, leaving just Diana over here wondering why this doesn't feel like a usual ranked game for her where players are ranked do things like burn their alts after fights. This turbo virgin now has 9 kills at 12 minutes just disrespecting any handshake offer from the robot while flashing in to demand that dashing douche stop spinning her sickles. This extends all the way to the second statue, and I know you're thinking what I'm thinking, which is that Blitz is about to pull that coked up kangaroo, which gives the upright goat the green light for more genocide, leaving just that chick with a spark plug up her ass. Shout out to our buyer who nailed an alt then came in with a super fat auto, clearly having to pull his own weight in this one. At this point Dirty D is just a kid compared to Kindred 3 levels younger, so this furry bowman comes in all parental being like don't make me count to 3 or you're getting put in timeout, and kids these days just don't listen I guess. I mean these poor players are just getting toyed with by the Smurf on night shift, as the buyer could practically be tabbed out in base and still get his LP at this point because it's a bit hard to shut down someone who can spawn an immortal dance floor when shit starts going south. And if you are like me and are just rooting for her to die just once, knowing that in the grand scheme of things it's the only glimmer of negativity that will happen to boosters like this, because Riot is more focused on being too impatient to wait for the World Cup to release soccer skins, so they are just making up games at this point so they can cop their bag earlier type of problems. I'm sorry to say it's not happening in this one. So yeah, the legitimate 1v9 single-handed hard carry commences as the buyer Ezreal ended up going like 2 and 3 and just had to twiddle his thumbs for 20 minutes to rank up in this one, as I'm wondering why anyone would spend money to inflate a rank that means less and less every day because of bullshit like this. But that doesn't mean I wasn't immediately gonna search for a game he played solo to make fun of him trying to compete in his new undeserved elo. This one he is playing the clunky metal moron, which was fitting because you'd think his gameplay looked rusty for someone this rank, as he manages to secure the first kill from any of his carries before escaping the ugly battle. And a near-death experience like this might have real diamond players thinking twice about their decisions, but this dude could give two shits what happens. He'll just PayPal some virgin later for more wins, so he runs in one bard's fart from death and ironically becomes the one whose ass gets kicked. And seeing as this copper cuckwad is in charge of warding, they have less vision than a blind bat in a cosmic bowling alley, as Chuckles the annoying shitbag comes in, throws a toy on the ground to distract the dumbass while he kills off the friend and then the tin twat himself. And turns out you give Chester the Jester a taste, he's gonna become a regular customer of the bot lane buffet as our walking submarine opts out of hooking a wall and maybe escaping, as he'd rather try to fist fight a chick with Santa and a clown watching instead. Then we see this fat sack of brainless bolts scanning for a Wi-Fi signal at a dangerous time when 0 red team players are visible on the map. You know, typical diamond player gameplay, which unsurprisingly ends up with Captain Jackie Sparrow, who's stuck on the buddy system with this boosted Betty having to abandon him to die. So now he's using his scanner to its fullest potential in the middle of the damn lane like he has a hobby for metal detecting when Braum spawns a ground VJJ, which thanks to Samira being 200 years of game design results in a good time, but she eventually gets one too many frosty Tic Tacs shoved up her shithole, which just leaves the man, the myth, the League of Legends loser who pays for his rank to die alone. Then he sees that Legolas's wife is all alone, so without wondering where her pervy Santa of a support is lurking, he taps alt and then donates his Q to the wasted CC Foundation, and bam, down the chimney we have Mr. Pornstash himself. Who in the world would have thought that a 2v2 lane would actually consist of 2 people from both sides? Surely not this submarine. Please just take off his screen's color again. At this point him and his unlucky lane mate are responsible for like 80% of his team's fatalities, to the point where they are so weak that tagging the turret in for a little tag team Royal Rumble is still a fat failure for this D-Gen. But maybe it's just an unfortunate bot lane situation where the clown brought his camping bag, so we should observe how he behaves during mid-game team fights, which to my untrained eye looks a whole lot like he just wants to be accepted as a part of the pack, except this particular pack all wants him dead and he's too socially unaware to realize it. Then I'm thinking he's just gonna flex his bronze biceps a bit to back these butt munchers off of his statue, but that would be boring when he instead could be picking a fight with the 10-kill Ashe. What's the worst that could happen? Certainly not a winshit or whiffing an ult and then the Joker himself showing up to the shenanigans uninvited to shove a shank up this submarine's shizzy hole once more. And thus his performance in this one leads to a game so uneven that it ended in an FF at 15 type of situation, where Riot's replay system still says it was a victory. So if they aren't working on bugs like that and they aren't banning players like this, what exactly are they doing?